think, Marge. All I need is a title.
The truth shall set you free is an old saying, but one that has a lot of value. An argument that is based on the truth is a lot more solid and formidable than one that is based on a myth or a wish. This is the case with the murder of Matthew Shepard, which was perpetuated by Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson on October 7th of 1998. Almost before the funeral for Shepard on October 12th, the narrative had already been created, that the 21-year-old University of Wyoming student was taken to a fence northeast of Laramie, Wyoming, and pistol-whipped nearly to death because he was gay, and he had made a pass on Aaron McKinney. The story became the basis for widespread pressure to pass the hate crimes legislation, the creation of the Matthew Shepard Foundation, and the continuing myth that now stifles any other outlook on the events in the case, including the truth. In reality, because of the fact that some important aspects of the Shepard murder case were not known to the media at the time, the press only had certain information, because much of the pertinent information was under a court seal, and so they went with what they had, and what they had was McKinney's statement to the police that he assaulted Matthew Shepard after Shepard groped at his crotch.
So, obviously, you don't like gay people.
Well, I really don't hate them, but when they start coming up and stuff like that, I get pretty aggravated.
However, numerous sources made it clear that Aaron McKinney killed Matthew Shepard after a botched drug robbery. This, however, does not fit the narrative that the LGBTQ plus community and the Matthew Shepard Foundation wants to continue to push on to anyone who will listen. This aspect of the story begins in February of 1995 when Matthew Shepard is raped and beaten while on a class trip to Morocco. After that attack, Shepard was prescribed various medications to deal with pain, depression, paranoia, and suicidal ideations for the rest of his life. This eventually led to prescription drug abuse, which he tried and failed to overcome. Shepard moved several times, partly in an attempt to get away from the drug life, but it always seemed to pull me in, he was quoted as saying. After graduating from high school, Matthew Shepard briefly attended Catawba College in Salisbury, North Carolina, before returning to his hometown to attend classes at Casper College. While there, he met and became good friends with Romaine Patterson and moved with her down to Denver. It was while he was in Denver that Matthew Shepard began selling drugs to support his habit. He became involved in a drug organization that was running crystal meth along the Colorado Front Range and into Wyoming, where dealers could sell to other pushers taking the drugs along the I-80 corridor over to Rock Springs and then Salt Lake City. The problem was, as one former member of the drug gang put it, Matthew Shepard was taking stuff from the rest of us, and he was moving up in the organization too quickly in such a competitive environment. The sexual aspect of the story also continues through this period. According to Stephen Jimenez, in his book, Doc O'Connor told him that Matthew Shepard relayed a story about being beaten up in Cody, Wyoming after making a pass at a man in the summer of 1997. About a year later, Matthew moved to Laramie, Wyoming to attend classes at the University of Wyoming. He also felt that attending college at a small-town university would make him feel safe. However, Matthew remained in contact with the drug group in Denver. He continued to make drug runs from Denver to Laramie, and he fell in with the local drug scene where he met Aaron McKinney, who was a drug dealer with a rival drug group. McKinney was also a semi-closeted bisexual. The media reports surrounding the murder of Matthew Shepard stated that he and Aaron McKinney did not know each other prior to the murder, that the attack was a spur-of-the-moment thing motivated by the fact that Matthew Shepard was gay and he looked rich. However, these media reports did not have the complete story, and the general public was left to create a narrative off of an incomplete set of facts. Doc O'Connor, who used to run a limo service out of Bosler, Wyoming, had associated himself with Aaron McKinney, and he told journalist and author Stephen Jimenez about a limo ride out to Woods Landing, Wyoming for Aaron and two other guys. On the way out there, O'Connor heard a wine glass break, and he opened the sliding door and told Aaron, "You're going to have to pay for that wine glass." Aaron agreed, saying that it would be no problem. According to O'Connor's statement to Jimenez, Aaron McKinney was completely naked, as were the two other guys, one of which O'Connor thinks may have been Matthew Shepard. O'Connor officially met Matthew Shepard on October 2, 1998, when he was hired by Shepard to drive down to a gay bar in Fort Collins, Colorado. At the same time, back in Laramie, Aaron McKinney went on what was described as a week-long binge of crystal meth use. By October 6th, Matthew Shepard was informed by his drug group that he would not be making the crystal meth run to Fort Collins and Laramie on the 7th. The result was that Matthew didn't have either the drugs or the money on him on October 7th. The problem was that by October 7th, Aaron McKinney had run out of drugs, he had no money, he was late on his rent, and he owed other people a large amount of money, including a number of other drug pushers. A solution to this problem presented itself. Aaron McKinney knew about the drug deliveries being run out of Denver, and he figured that Matthew Shepard would be arriving in Laramie with about 6 ounces of crystal meth, with a street value of roughly $12,000 or so. The perfect answer to his problems, except that he did not know that Matthew Shepard would not be making that run, and therefore would not have the drugs or money on him. Numerous sources confirm that Matthew Shepard visited the library bar across the street from the UW dorms during the late afternoon on October 7th. Soon after Shepard left, McKinney showed up, then left. Matthew then showed up at the Fireside Bar, followed a short time later by McKinney and Russell Henderson. In short, Matthew Shepard was stalked on the evening of October 7, 2017. After a period of time at the bar, all three men left and got into a truck driven by Russell Henderson. Aaron McKinney's plan was to rob Matthew Shepard, but Matthew revealed that he only had about $30 on him, and he didn't have the crystal meth. At that point, the plan changed, and now McKinney wanted to rob the Shepard residence. I would speculate that about this time was when the groping story also got its start. Three men in the front of a pickup truck is a very tight fit. We have to assume that Matthew Shepard was in the middle, because if not, he would have simply escaped from the truck once Aaron McKinney started beating on him. Also, Aaron said that the gun used to assault Matthew later was located under the front seat. In any event, if the truck bounced, Matthew might have instinctively reached out to stabilize himself and at that moment accidentally put his hand into McKinney's crotch. This is speculation, but it explains what happened later. McKinney, in a meth-fueled rage, starts beating on Matthew Shepard as Russell Henderson drives toward the edge of town. The truck arrives at the cold, windswept prairie near a decorative fence. Matthew Shepard struggles against being dragged from the truck as he surmises what might be about to happen to him. He fails and is ripped out of the truck and dragged over to the fence. Aaron McKinney then proceeds to bludgeon Matthew Shepard with the pistol. Russell Henderson attempts to intervene, but gets hit across the face for his efforts. Reports indicate that Matthew Shepard is beaten to within an inch of his life, and Russell Henderson then ties him to the fence. McKinney and Henderson then take the truck back into town. If they came in on 9th Street, they did not get far before they noticed some thugs slicing tires at the intersection of 7th and Harney. For the second time in 15 minutes, Aaron McKinney assaulted someone with a weapon. Nearby police noticed the altercation and responded, finding the pickup truck belonging to Aaron McKinney, but both he and Russell Henderson had escaped on foot. Aaron McKinney ended up crawling through the bathroom window at his girlfriend's apartment. She and McKinney fled to Fort Collins, Colorado, where he was admitted to the hospital to treat head wounds suffered in the Harney Street brawl. Henderson was arrested at his girlfriend's trailer home on October 8th. He was jailed and quickly lawyered up. On October 7th or 8th, Aaron McKinney was arrested at the Potter Valley Hospital in Fort Collins, Colorado. On October 9th, McKinney was taken to the Albany County Courthouse to be interrogated by police. 2 days after the attack is a long time to be able to start piecing together a story, and perhaps lawyer up, and I believe that this is what happened. Aaron McKinney by himself would not have made a sympathetic case. However, when you combine his drug abuse and his sexual assault when he was a child, you have the foundations for the gay rage defense that was later used. And it was this defense that gave the national media and the gay, lesbian, allied communities their narrative, that Matthew Shepard had been assaulted because he was gay and because he came on to Aaron McKinney. Let me make a couple things clear. First, the death of Matthew Shepard was a horrible act of cruel brutality. Having been out in the Wyoming weather at that time of the year, I can tell you that it can get very, very cold in early October nights. An injured person with no shoes would not have survived, and the man who saw Shepard and got help out there for him bought him a few days to try to hang on. The second thing I'd like to make clear is that one of the goals of Judy Shepard in creating the Matthew Shepard Foundation was to assist in the passage of hate crimes laws and spread a message of understanding, compassion, and acceptance that has largely been welcome and successful. However, what about Dwayne Jones, who was killed by a violent mob in 2013 after dancing around in women's clothing? How about the 19 trans women killed so far in 2017? How about the gay, lesbian, and trans women killed the year before that? My point is not that the Matthew Shepard murder was not horrible, because it certainly was. However, he was not the victim of an anti-gay hate crime. The facts in the case, uncovered since the close of the court proceedings and the lifting of the court seal and the gag order, do not point in that direction, and it does the LGBTQ+ community no good whatsoever to continue to perpetuate that myth.